when performing the property of additive inverse, our goal is to change all the subtraction signs to a plus sign. And the only numbers that take the opposite are the numbers that follow that change. So if you take the first one, for example, -5, it's the first number, okay? We're not going to touch -5. -5 will stay -5. +8, we don't have to change anything. It's already addition. The minus -5, that is where we make a change. We change the minus to a plus, and then we take the opposite of the next number, which is 5. -2, I'm sorry, not -2, -2, we change that to a plus, and we take the opposite of 2, which is -2. And then +7. That right there is the additive inverse, okay? Notice that the -5 at the very beginning did not change. The 7 did not change signs, nor the 8 changed signs, because they were already being added. Our goal is to get everything to be adding, hence additive inverse. All right, the next thing we can do is we can rearrange these numbers to our liking. The -5 and the +5 I can see automatically can cancel out. However, some people can see that -5 and -2 are both negative numbers, while the 8, the 5, and the 7 are all positives. Okay? Different people group the numbers differently. So I'm going to go ahead and play this through as rewriting it this way. So you can already tell that I'm going to group, the next step I'm going to group, what I'm going to actually group is the positives and the negatives. So this is my commutative. Notice I haven't solved anything yet. I'm just worried about rearranging and changing the signs and all that stuff, okay? Now I'm going to actually group the numbers together to show what I'm actually adding, okay? Notice I am not solving anything yet. This is associative. All right, from here, I have to group those numbers that I'm grouping. I have to go ahead and simplify what is inside the parentheses. That's the reason for grouping, okay? Is because whatever you put inside that parentheses, the next step has to be to simplify that group, okay? So -5 plus another -2 is -7. 8 plus 5 plus 7 is 20. Okay, and then -7 plus 20 is 13. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Okay, the first thing that you should automatically see is that 0. In order to apply the identity property, you are not going to rewrite identity. You're not going to rewrite the expression with the 0 in it. Once you get rid of that 0, because that's how you perform the identity property, it's gone. It doesn't come back, okay? Because you perform the identity property in order to get rid of it. So why bring it back into your equation? Boom, 0's gone, okay? The identity property says that adding 0 is adding nothing, adding no value. So please, once you get rid of it, do not bring it back into the expression. Now let's go ahead and change all those minus signs. Okay, so we've got 30 minus 30. minus negative 7 minus 10. So there's 3 minus signs that I have to change to plus signs. Let's go ahead and perform that additive inverse. When you apply the additive inverse, you say change it to plus, take the sign or take the opposite of the next number. So that is why the negative 7 became positive, okay? Because it's the opposite of negative 7. So this one again was additive inverse. All right. I'm going to rearrange my numbers to this arrangement. Some of you might have arranged them differently, but no matter what, if you decide to rearrange the order of those numbers, you better believe it's going to be commutative property. Now I'm going to group. You can obviously see I'm grouping my positives and my negatives again. That's associative. Now is when I start solving. I start solving what's in those parentheses first, okay? So the 30 and the 7, the negative 3 and the negative 10, okay? And then I can actually solve and get my answer. The answer here is 24. All right, notice here we do not have the identity property. There's no 0, okay? And everything is addition. So just because the 3.25 is negative and the 4.75 is negative, that's not the operator. Those are the negative signs, okay? Everything in this expression is addition. We do not have to apply the additive inverse, okay? Now, let's go ahead and apply the commutative property and rearrange these numbers to our liking. So, of course, Miss Luck is going to rearrange her numbers. I'm sure you can guess. Like so. Sorry it's taking forever for me to write because I'm writing with a stylus. Now I'm going to show my grouping effort, okay? That's going to be my associative property. Notice I am not solving yet. I'm organizing everything so that I can solve. Okay, this helps your teacher read your problem a little bit easier. So we have negative 3.25 plus negative 4.75. And then I'm going to group all the positives together. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot do the commutative or associative property if there's any subtraction signs. Okay? That's why they're all addition. That's why we changed them all to all addition. You cannot perform the commutative property if there's a subtraction. Negative is different. You're adding the negative, okay? You cannot perform associative if you have a subtraction sign. You can have a negative, but not subtraction. Okay, this here is what we can actually solve. Let's go ahead and add all these up. So in the first parentheses, we get negative 8. The second set of parentheses, we get 16. So the solution ends up being positive 8. Final problem. I'm not worried too much about the fractions right now. I'm going to worry about the properties and the signs and changing subtraction to addition. I'm not going to worry about adding or subtracting yet, okay? So I'm just going to look at the signs first. I do notice that there's no 0, so no identity property. I do notice that there's 2 subtractions, one here and one here that I have to get rid of, so I have to perform the additive inverse. So let's just rewrite this expression. Plus, don't forget, take the opposite, negative 1/4. Many people forgot that part. Plus, take the opposite, negative 1/2. Okay? Now I'm going to apply the commutative property. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to rearrange this problem because I'm going to make it easy on myself. I'm going to rearrange it to this order. Can you wonder why I'm doing it in this order? You'll see as we actually start solving the problems. All right, now I'm going to show which ones I'm going to group. So I'm going to group the ones with the common denominator first, because that'll be simple. Notice I'm not grouping these yet. All right. The only thing that I'm going to simplify in this stage or in this step is the first set of parentheses. Negative 1 3/4 plus another quarter, negative quarter. That gives me a negative 2. Okay? So after simplification, we get this. So then I'm going to group these two, because negative 2 plus the negative half is equal to negative 2.5. See how simple that is? And then all I have left to do is that problem right there. So don't forget, this was simplify. The next one was associative, again, because I grouped the negative 2 and the negative 1/2. This one, again, is simplify. Okay, simplify is when I'm actually solving and combining the numbers that I'm grouping together. All right, I'm going to work this out, and then I'll get back right with you once I'll just go and solve it. 2 times 2 is 4, so that's negative 5/2, 16, 28. So we have to find a common denominator. We end up getting this. So negative 20 plus another negative 20 is a negative 40. And this actually works out because negative 40 divided by 8, that ends up giving us a negative 5. So this, negative 5, is our solution.